recipe because most of us bake like shit. It's true. Um, so yesterday I talked to Brent afterwards. Yelp. So most people are looking for, okay, like for example, how do you optimize your Yelp? Same thing you do with your GMB. For instance, I'll give you a red flag to Yelp. One of the red flags to Yelp, same thing in Google, is if you're in there, quote unquote, getting reviews, but your entire Yelp is not filled out, no description, no images, no specials, no hours, no payment methods, none of the stuff that you should have already basically done is not filled out, and you're in there getting reviews. That's a red flag to Yelp, and they're going to filter those reviews as fake reviews because they go, how's this guy getting all these reviews yet he's not posting this shit? So they're going to filter them. And if you want Yelp to start ranking, you got to do the same thing when you do in GMB. Optimize your description, optimize your posts, get in there and actually do posts, get in there and actually do specials, fill out everything, respond to your reviews just like you normally would, and send traffic to your Yelp listing. Um, but nevertheless, I actually hate Yelp, and I used to hate Yelp to begin with because of the fact that in back in the day they would take the reviews and do exactly what I said, but after you start taking that and filling everything out, you'll find they stop doing the filtering on the reviews, um, at least from my experience. Um, so the other thing I started doing before was review gating, and where someone leave a negative review on Yelp, you can't really quote unquote challenge it too much, but you respond to it. So in today, I know everybody is kind of the holidays or whatever for most people, but I'm in Michael's group, just been in Michael's group for like a month, and I have a lot of people on my own that are coming in there, and they're like, how do you do very basic stuff? Setting up campaigns, which we will go over, but not today. And then the very basic stuff. Well, how do you choose what keywords, and how do you get the volume? How do we add this volume? Um, how do we calculate it? A little bit of everything. So that's what I wanted to go over. I know some of you, this is probably well beyond you, but I need to make this for the people that it's not. There are a few of us in here um, that are brand new to CTR. How many of you are actually brand new to using CTR software or Booster or anything whatsoever? Just give me a one. So more than I thought, about half. All right, let me do a screen share, and if you have questions, just put them over in the chat. But let's go. What is click-through rate? What is click-through rate manipulation? Click-through rate manipulation, in this sense, me and Chris were just talking about, is basically making Google think, in my mind, is making Google think that you're getting more natural click-through to your ad or to your listing than you really are. Tomorrow, I'm going to go over the different forms of CTR manipulation, not just Michael's. Even though I use it, I'm going to be going over doing ads, doing an email blast. There are things that people don't think about that they can actually do CTR with. Maybe you're running Facebook ads. If you're already running Facebook ads, are you sending it to different things, such as your share link or your GMB listing? If you're not, you're doing yourself a disservice. But we'll go over those types of things and how do we do them. CTR calculations. So for CTR calculations, click-through rate can be used to gauge how well your keywords, ads, and listings are performing. Okay. It's just the number of clicks that your listing receives. Okay. So And here we got this little graph. It's showing, okay, for example, if you went into analytics or in Google Search Console, it'll break it down. Okay, is it coming from social media? Where's your traffic coming from? Direct traffic? Is it coming from searches? And then what searches? All right. So in this math, if you're getting, for instance, I'm not very good at math per se in my head at least, but if let's say that's, and most people, here's where they fumble up. They go, well, my website's getting 5,000, views. So let me take 20% of that. And then they go, okay, so I need to send to this keyword. I need to send, 1,000 views or whatever they wind up doing. And then what happens is you just made a big boo-boo because you're taking the total keywords or total searches or impressions. You're taking the total impressions of that keyword, of every view you've gotten, and you're sending that percentage. And in reality, what you should be doing is taking the keywords, not your entire total. So let me pull up a Google Search Console for you guys as well, so we can show everything at one time. Google. All right. So for instance, this is Search Console for right. This is a national client. They do automotive transportation for vehicles, right? And when most people come here, you're going to see this, right? And this is what they're concerned with. And then here's your performance. If you go to your performance, this is where you need to be sticking at. So they're getting 700, almost 700,000 impressions a month, or in this case, this is for 3 months, 90 days, 7 days, 28 days. And some people, what I've noticed is they'll go, for example, you can do it down to 12 months or whatever you wish, but let's say 3 months in specific. This is 12-month period. They grow slowly, growing. But what most people do is they'll take this number right here, the total impressions, and then they'll say, well, I need to add 20% to that. And then they add 20% to this. And then when their rankings start dropping, even when they're doing CTR, they wonder why. It's because you're sending too much traffic. All right. So based on your CTR calculations, all right, what you need to do is step one, you got to determine what keywords to use and when you're getting ready to do your CTR. And you're going to get that information from your Google Search Console. All right. And you can also get it from, I use Rank Tracker, which is a all-in-one power suite, which shows me, for example, where are my rankings. I don't do anything that's past the top 30. Like, for example, if it's not in the top 30, I'm not going to try to quote unquote get it to the page one using CTR, just like we were talking about yesterday. And Brent said, you really need to be doing some other stuff. For example, you need to do your on-page SEO. It needs to be taken care of. Your technical SEO needs to be taken care of. You actually need to be doing some content writing, some blog posting. You need to be doing some, if you will, GMB posting, and to have supporting posts in your GMB and supporting assets out there that will actually start getting you some rankings naturally. Okay, so you could actually start getting them into the spots that you need. All right. So the next thing I do whenever I come here, how do we get these numbers and figure out who we're going to actually be sending these to, is then I can go over here and export. If I go into Google and I'm in Google Search Console, I go to performance and I literally just hit export. download it into an Excel sheet, put that on my desktop. And if I open that now, right, it will break everything down for me. Y'all see the Excel sheet? Just shake your head. All right, so it's telling me the positions and everything, and I can filter all of this and sort it, right? Okay, so I know.
We can't see it.
Okay, you can't see it. Give me 1 second. There we go. So I can filter once I've downloaded it. Let me back up so y'all could see this. So I want to filter this so I could say, okay, who's in the top positions? I go here and I go over to the right, it says sort and filter, and I go smallest to largest, right? And hit sort. And it sorted everything for me. So I want to only, in my case, and way I work with things, if it's not in the top 30, I'm not touching it. So now I have it all sorted. If I wanted to do CTR, I will do it with these right here. So now I have the keywords that I want to work with. If I wanted to do CTR to this specific client, which I'm not doing any CTR with this specific client, these are the keywords I want to work with. Especially like motorcycle shipment. This is a big one of his that he likes. Shipping a car from the US to Canada. Motorcycle shipping, stuff like this, right? So that's how we download it and quote unquote sort it and then get the numbers. Any questions so far?
Yeah, I have a question, William.
Yes,
when you're saying top 3, you mean top 3 for those specific keywords?
Those specific keywords, I'm looking for the ones that are in the top 30 results.
30. 30.
Yep,
Okay.
30. Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Yep. So that's what I'm looking for, and I use that Excel, in the, okay. Yeah, I look at it and I sort it in the Google Excel sheet, all right? We've downloaded the keywords. We have them listed out. They're imported into the Google Sheets, in the PowerPoint, as well as the Word document that I will be putting in the back end. I have step-by-step on how to do it, that you open up your Google Sheets, you download the data, how do you filter it, everything, okay? Then what we're going to do on top of all of that, you can either highlight it or like I did, and I'll show you this again. We can either highlight them, and these are the only ones I want to work with, or I could literally also do this and just select these rows, delete anything I don't want to work with, and remove it from my Excel sheet. So there's no, especially if you have a VA doing this. I know some people do, some people don't, but if you had a VA doing this, for example, just from my experience, because I have 30 of them that I work with, I would delete everything I don't want them touching, because I know for a fact if you leave it in there, they're probably going to touch it even if you don't tell them to touch it. So I would delete all that. Now I have inside here, the only thing I'm going to be messing with is these keywords. And I could start with, I could go, for example, what I may wind up doing is saying, hey, let me just get these right here. They're in the top 3, but they're number 2 or 3. Let me get those to be position 1 first. Then I may go, okay, let's work with, 4 through 8. I'm just trying to give you all my train of thought and how I may do it. I'll work through these keywords first, get them to be position 1, work through these, get them in the top 3, and then maybe bump them to top 1, right? This is what you're going to use to get a nice list of keywords that need improvement, right? And what I'll do is, I'll have all this in the back end so you could see it. Now, okay, how do we get the quantity of how many searches we're going to make? So for example, searches, let's type in searches here. That way we know this is what we're going to work with versus what we have. So this one has not clicks. I'm talking about searches, actual searches or impressions. So if I wanted to work with this, I would, let's say, for example, and in the Viper, it's best to use, let's say, 4 keywords at a time, no more. Because the Viper is going to rotate and go through the different keywords. If you have, and I know Michael doesn't have it where you could do more than a specific amount anyways, but if you put in a bunch of them, what will wind up happening is you'll wind up having your views not going to that specific keyword, So what you may want to do in this case, we'll go, all right, eShip reviews, you get 646, this one and this one. Copy it, put it over here. I'm going to total these up. That's the total amount of, searches it's getting, right? And then I want to take that number, this, and then multiply it up to 20%, no more. So let's say we started out with 5%. It's 57 views, 57 extra views, right? Mind you, these numbers right here are also over a 3-month period. This is over a 3-month period. So in 3 months, this is how many views you got. So you should only be increasing it by 57 views in a 3-month period if you're going to increase it. Right. So if these numbers were reflective of 30-day period, that's when you're going to want you're going to pull from, right? But let's say, for example, if we wanted to do, instead of 5%, we wanted to go at the max I would do is 20%. So I'm going to send 228 views or searches via CTR. I'm not going to go, what I've seen people do is go, okay, well, I need to send, I got, 1,140, and I need to take the, 228 or the percentage here, and I need to add both of these right here together. And that's the amount of CTR I'm going to wind up doing. I'm going to wind up sending about 1,300 views to those keywords, and then their rankings start plummeting, and then they're wondering why. It's because you're sending too many damn views via CTR, right? You should never be doing that. You should only be doing the percentage of the total, right? Following me? If you got any questions, let me know.
Yeah, quick question.
Yep.
Is it better to take, like, as the first 3 or 4 keywords that we're going to use, to take some impressions that are similar? Like right now, the number 6, that's really far away from the other one. Because could that cause a problem, or it doesn't matter?
No, that's not, just not how I do it. I haven't been doing this for that long of a period of time, but I've already seen success with it. But I understand what you're trying to see. Let me do this real quick. For me, for example, all I'm going to do, I just keep it really simple, is go, for instance, this is your keywords that you're messing with, right? And I go, so these right here are already in the top 3. So I want to work on those first, but I want to work on them mainly because their average position is bouncing it's not in number one. It's staying around 2 or 3. So I'll work on those to try to get them to number 1 first. And then I'll work on these. I'm not really paying attention to this number right here, the CTR percentage, what the click-through rate is already. I'm only wanting to know, really right here, how many times it's getting seen and what's its position. Those are the numbers I'm going to go off of. And then I'm going to take these numbers right here under impressions and total them up. All right, and that's the number I'm going to base my total off of when I'm calculating my percentages. So when I calculate my percentage, I'm going to go, for example, do this again. We go through auto sum. That's the total amount. And then I'm going to take that from anywhere from, let's say 1%. I don't think, I mean, you could do 1%. I just don't do it. 5%, up to 20%. I've seen people go up by 30%, it's up to you really. If you want to do 30%, it's just not something I do. And then I take this number right here and I go, okay, we need to send an additional 5%, 10%, 15%, 20% to that number, right? This number right here. And a lot of people, what you'll see and they're making a mistake on is they're going to go, all right, let's calculate the 20%. And then they just add the 20% on top of this number. And that's boo-boo. Don't want to do that. All right. If you don't, and why this is very important, may seem extremely basic, I'll be right with you, Marcin, is because if you send too much, you will make your rankings plummet and it will look unnatural to Google. Anything that looks unnatural to Google, Google can and will penalize you for. So it's very important that we get these numbers right. Okay. And let's do this real quick. Insert. And I'm going to give you all this sheet. Go ahead, Marcin.
Okay, I have a question. Mm-hmm. So this 20% you're gonna put for how many days?
If the way I do it is, let me pull this back up for you.
Because you say this number is for 3 months, so you're gonna put 20% of this 1,200 for a period of 3 months?
No, sir. So whenever you go to your Google Search Console, okay, which is this right here, I'm going to show you again. If I export for 3 months, then I'm going to do CTR for 3 months. If I export for 28 days, those are the numbers I'm going to use, and I personally will do it over 28 days. If
I understand.
If I pull numbers for 7 days, I'm going to use those numbers and do CTR for 7 days.
Okay, I got another question.
Yep.
What about the traffic, let's say, from YouTube? So it doesn't matter. Above what you put here, can you get another traffic, let's say, from YouTube, like from description?
So you're talking about, for example, if you're going to just specifically run YouTube traffic?
No. Because the other guys in
you're talking about your YouTube traffic may be coming in here, and this is just going to pull this is just pulling your search in Google. All right.
Yes, I understand. So my question is, do you think you can put more above that? I know this is traffic directly from the Google for a keyword, but the guys was saying it's a very good to put additional traffic from description from the video. So like
yeah, if you're doing the videos and stuff, then yes. I'll go over the YouTube videos on a different one, but not on this one. The YouTube video is going to be a different process.
I'm sorry, maybe I'm asking this question wrong. Okay, so let's say I got the website cleaningchicago.com and I put the traffic viper for 20% of the keywords. But the guys was saying it's good also send direct traffic through the video on YouTube to cleaningchicago.com because it's gonna give additional boost if the traffic gonna come from some Google property like the YouTube. So how many traffic you put additional over this 20% directly from Google search? How many traffic you put through the YouTube video on description to this cleaningchicago.com?
The first thing I would want to look at is how many YouTube searches am I getting from my keywords to begin with? You know, if I'm not getting, let's say, let me put it this way, if I'm getting, let's say, 200 searches for that specific keyword, and you can pull that information from YouTube, and then I go in there and I blast it with 200 CTR, I don't think it's going to help you. I just don't.
You know, this guy yesterday, I forgot his name. He was saying actually he was ranking the GMB only using the traffic from the YouTube video, not even directly. So, and on the mastermind of Viper, the people was saying this is good strategy for organic as well.
Yep, but you still need to abide by numbers. You can't just go throw a bunch of traffic at it and hope it sticks. You got to have something to base it off of. And that's what I'm trying to give you. Let me go on. There's a question. When you get penalized for adding traffic from YouTube traffic, I think that's what he's asking. No, not. I mean, that's what I'm saying is no, but you still need to base it off of something. You can't, in my opinion, you can't just go, let me just throw 1,000 views at something that never gets 1,000 views. You understand what I'm saying? If it looks unnatural, then you're likely going to get penalized. Now, then again, Brent, I talk to Brent all the time. Me and him work together. So Brent will also tell you, and he also said on that show yesterday, he also said, I would not do what I did on my, on my client's business. I did it on my own property when he was trying to break it. So if you're going to do it, just realize that he did that test and trying to break it. So if you're going to throw 1,000 views at something that normally only gets 200 and it winds up breaking, don't be surprised why it broke. Now, what I personally would do is if you go into Google Analytics will tell you, all right, here's where your traffic came from. It came from YouTube, came from Facebook, whatever. And then I would use that information to then say, okay, I normally get, let's say, traffic for this many keywords from YouTube. Let me get that information because I want to do things just a little bit differently. Let me go ahead and stop sharing on that one. And then we'll go back to the other screen. So we have in that Excel sheet that you have, you're basing your keywords on those top 30. You filtered them. You know which ones are in the top 30. You could do it top 20, top 10. Doesn't matter. What I do is top 30. Okay. Now you have them downloaded, everything. I've already shown you how to do the download. Once again, I'll show you again, and this is going to be in the Excel sheet or in the PowerPoint. You'll see this right here. Once you get your performance area inside Google Search Console, you just go download Excel. That's it. You're going to remove all keywords that's not in the position. If they're not in the top 30, you don't want to mess with them. You need to actually start doing some SEO for those keywords, on page internal linking, location pages, etc., and get them ranking. Another thing people will do is they will just go, well, my keyword is, let's say, carpet cleaning Sacramento, and it's not in Google Search Console, and Google's not recognizing your website to be ranking for, carpet cleaning Sacramento, and they'll still want to push CTR to it when they're not even getting any traffic and not ranking for it. So that's going to be one thing that I would not do that a lot of people do. And obviously the reason behind that is because if you're not ranking for it and you're going to push CTR to it, then why in the hell are you pushing CTR to it when Google says, hey, you're not ranking for this and you have no keywords, you have no on-page SEO for it, and you've done no citations or anything to build up to that point where they start recognizing you as an authority on that. All right. And then we went over, how to calculate your quantity of your searches. All right. Give me 1 second. Pull this up for y'all. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that Excel sheet as well on the back end for y'all. Give me 1 second. If you have any questions or whatever, just put them in the chat and I'll get to them. Let me see, 1 second. And the last but not least thing, a lot of people, why is CTR important? It's because honestly, if you look at the top positions, they get almost, I forget it's a ridiculous number, but it's something like, I want to say close to, what was it, 60% or something of all clicks. I'm trying to find it for you, the actual percentage, not just spitting numbers out, but it's, the main reason is the more higher you're up, obviously the more clicks you're going to get. So this is the number one reason why you want to be in the top 3 is you're going to get more click-throughs to your actual website. And the more clicks you're getting, the more people are going to see you. Obviously, yeah, my nephew is having 10 family members visit his site almost every other day. He's clicking around a few minutes exactly. So the question was, if your GMB is not showing for a specific keyword, but your site does, can you use it for the GMB Viper? Yes. You're just going to go off of what's in Google Search Console. Like for instance, the one I'm showing you that I'm working off of right there, that's a national campaign. That's not something that's even in it has a GMB, but we're doing it specifically. It's an international campaign. We ship over from Canada to Hawaii, etc. So was that okay to have his family members click around his site? Well, that's one thing we could probably, I'm going to be going over tomorrow some different methods, but does his family members actually live in the area in which the place of business is, Delaney? So okay, good. Then that's fine. The only thing is if their cache is not cleared out, then they're just going to keep seeing the same thing over and over. And Google does count that. I know for a fact they do count it. Same way, like for instance, if you go on someone's ad and I just start clicking on their ad over and over and over again, Google's not going to charge them every time the same person with the same IP address clicks on someone's ad. Another thing, man, we could talk about it tomorrow, but I could talk some about it today. How many of you are using Facebook ads? Drop a 1. Not for CTR, but actually using any Facebook ads for your clients or personal business. 1, 1. Okay, so that was something I was doing for one of my clients prior to them switching to another SEO. And actually, I still have access to her Google Search Console. She was rising and her traffic had doubled, not doubled, but actually tripled. Her calls had tripled, and now she's falling. So that's one thing we'll go over tomorrow. But it's, I mean, honestly, it's pretty much set up. It's like the same thing whenever I give my boys, for example, a lot of people will only send traffic to their website. That's it. And what I'll do is I'll go for a GMB. I'll give you an example. Let's pull up a GMB. Let's go over here and I'll show you some things here. All right, so let's go and Google My Business. All right. Let me pull one of these. Which one we got here? Got so many. All right. So I will wind up pulling, I'm going to show you this. And it's like a little cheat sheet. I mean, a lot of people, some people don't do this sort of thing, but I will get a notepad, and every one of the posts that my guys make, we'll go, all right, let's grab, we'll grab the share post link here. Every post we make, we'll put it, I'll put it in a notepad, go down to here, grab this one, right? Grab this one. That's your, if you will, your share link. Then also, let's say if you wanted to view this on, Google search, then I can also grab the appointment link like we do. Grab the appointment link. Other things we could do as well is, okay, let's do maps. We go on view on maps. So when we're going to go do CTR, or we're going to do a Facebook ad campaign, or I'm going to do anything to try to manipulate CTR, I come in and I'll make like a little cheat sheet and I'll grab everything possible, anything whatsoever possible that I want to do. Same thing with the driving directions, like he was showing you guys yesterday. Take in the competition's name, drop them in here, and then get the actual, driving directions and slap this in here. And then I'll start doing CTR to that via Facebook ads. I'll do it via other means, such as how many clients do you have that actually has an email list? Do y'all have clients that actually have email lists? So when you send out let's say a newsletter, and you're putting out a newsletter, and let's say in specific, let's say it's about, I don't know if let's say this one right here was about senior health care, or let's say the post was about, if you're a senior and you need to come in for your for your dental care, I would take this post, then put that into into the email blast or newsletter, whatever you want to send out, and say, click here for our special. Now everybody in your email list goes to that. They click on it, and that's going to make your CTR look better. Like, for example, you were asking specifically about the YouTube one. And I've only sent 200 views to this one. So let's go incognito. I'm going to do it live. So I might, I haven't checked it. So we'll see. We shall see. See, I'll see. I'm incognito. So no one goes, William wasn't incognito. Now in his, and me and Craig talk, so it's no big deal. He was like, I'm going to have to knock you fucking off. Right? He hasn't knocked me off yet. He knocked James down. James was number 2. James is really pretty good at YouTube SEO, but this one right here is at 1.3 thousand views. I've only put through CTR. I've put about 200 plus views. The rest of it's come through me blasting it out to my email list and putting it on Facebook. And I've been sitting pretty here for 3 weeks, and he's been trying to knock me off, and he's got 10,000 views. He's like, I'm gonna knock you off. And he's like, you're effing kicking my ass. Like he thinks Michael's helping me with some other stuff. And I'm like, nope, Michael won't do it. So I'm down here too. But the thing is, and I did that with the bare minimum of views. I knew about how many views I was getting. And I just said, okay, let's do a couple hundred views. And that was it. So I mean, I know that works. And then in specific, if you look at my YouTube, how I have it set up in the description, which you're talking about, this is my description. My hashtag I'm using is the same keyword I'm trying to rank for. You see this? Keyword I'm trying to rank for, CTR manipulation. My hashtag is CTR manipulation. I would put it there. Is a tag in the video whenever I'm filling out my information on my YouTube, and I'll show you that. And then I also put it in the description. And then I do a short description. Have you ever wondered? And then this is my affiliate link for my CTR, because yes, I am an affiliate of it. But that's not why I do it. If anybody's in my classes, they know I don't. This is the only thing I'm an affiliate of, because I don't push stuff unless unless I know for fact it works, not even think it works. And then I have a description, and then it's all talking about CTR manipulation. That's why you'll see Chris Palmer in all his videos. He's going, like, for instance, he'll start a video and he'll say, we're going to talk about CTR manipulation, CTR manipulation, CTR manipulation, because YouTube, which is owned by Google, does pick up on voice keywords as well. And then these right here, these are just hyperlinks to different points in my CTR video. And I'm mentioning CTR manipulation, CTR manipulation, CTR manipulation, CTR manipulation, CTR manipulation. And then I have other videos and telling them, hey, to watch them. Now let's open up some of these other videos and see where they're going. It's not my own videos. I'm actually using other people's videos to rank my own shit. This one's James. This one's Chris Palmer's. And this one is someone else's. All talking about CTR. But I'm doing that for a very specific reason. Then my bot's coming in here, and some of my students, and making comments, and they're using, and when I set up the bot, it's using specifically, CTR manipulation inside of it. Some of these are actual students, some of them are not. They're using the keyword in the response helps. I mean, in the actual comment helps. And then whenever I respond, I make sure I use the word CTR manipulation. That's a little bit on the on the YouTube. Now, also what Brent was talking about, which I'll also do whenever I do, let me see if I can, let me get out of incognito mode, and I'll show you another thing I do as well. on YouTube, since y'all are asking about YouTube. I'll show you one thing I do. And I did do CTR manipulation on these too. I just stopped it because this is when I first got in it and I was just testing it. Let's see. Where are you at? Yep. Crime scene. So inside this right here, you'll see that I put the name, address, and phone number, the NAP, right? I put the share link for the YouTube video, and then I put their website address. Because when the CTR comes in here and is clicking around, it's going to click on these. Share link, YouTube link, and it has a name, address, phone number in here, like a citation. Same thing whenever I'm doing my web 20s and stuff, I do embeds and I do keyword insertion, which I know I go over that in my GMB class, but I do textual link insertions in every GMB map, and then I insert them into my web 20s and other places, and I stack them. Go ahead, Marcin.
About this tree YouTube link to your competitor, letting you rank higher and quicker, or it's helping you to be in suggested videos?
Why do I use videos?
Why you use the three links to your competitors in description of your CTR manipulation video?
Because I found it works. I mean, that's the only reason I'm doing it. And you know that, Marcin, is I'm not obviously trying to get the CTR to go to their video. It's another video about CTR. It's 3 other videos about CTR, and it's links about CTR. So in my mind, I put that in there and it's helping it rank. And I've been doing that in that specific case, I've done that for the past 3 weeks, and it's stuck, and
okay.
I've had the top 3 ones trying to knock it out, and Craig hasn't been able to knock it out yet.
Do you think that you got a little advantage about the Craig Campbell because your video is much longer?
Nope. He's got 10,000 views. If anybody should have an advantage,
but I'm talking your video is over 1 hour long, and he's I don't know 15 or 20 minutes. Do you think this is the big factor?
I don't think it's a factor, but possibly.
Okay. And another question about this repeating keywords in a video. Actually, it was on one of the mastermind of Platinum of the Viper. They was saying there's some technique, and I didn't catch it. So why I'm asking you? They was putting the they was
stuff. Anything talked about in Platinum stays in Platinum. But nevertheless, it did pause it for that second. But if you want to ask me or Michael about it privately, go ahead, because I know exactly what you're talking about. So, and yes, it does very much work. And no, I haven't even used it. So on anything that I'm doing right now, I haven't found it necessary. Any other questions? Because I'm going to get off here and then we can come back to this. We're going to be talking about just Facebook ads, Google ads, stuff like that, and other methods of doing CTR, micro workers, CTR booster, because other people ask about those things. That's the only reason I'm covering them. I have not used CTR booster. I know people that do use it. I could tell you why they don't work. They're not as effective and all that stuff. So we're going to go over that tomorrow as well. And then last day on the 5th day, we're going to have this pure Q&A, and I'm going to have Mike Merlino on as well. He's a partner of mine. and we're just going to go over everything. You said 3 keywords works best. Can I use multiple campaigns for the same GMB? So by multiple campaigns, you mean, let's say, for example, I'm a platinum, so I get 30 campaigns. Can I have separate campaigns for the same GMB? Technically, you could. The only problem I see with that is not really a problem. It's just make sure you don't use the same keywords. Like, so for example, if you had 30 keywords you want to push CTR to, you would take 3 keywords on this one, another 3 on this one, another 3 on this one, another 3 on this one, and various percentage in the percentages numbers for each one, not the same percentages across the board. Depends, Jean. What happens, and that little trick I actually learned from James. James is really good at being number one most of the time. If you follow James, he's on my friends list. He's been in my GMB course as well. The man can outrank almost anybody. And the only reason he hasn't outranked me is because I believe it's, I personally believe it's because of the Vipers. Because every other time I do anything, he outranks Craig Campbell, Holly Starks, Chris Palmer, all of them. I've ever seen him go after anything, he outranks them on YouTube every time. And he's really good at it. I mean, that's his specialty. He doesn't purposely go after anybody, but he can outrank most people. He was in the GMB Mastermind as well, so. He's actually the reason I started my YouTube channel, because prior to him, I didn't even want to do it. And then I started doing it. So let's see. Any other questions? Any other questions? When doing a GMB Viper, should we take data to base this visits from insights? I don't. I take it from Google Search Console. By insights, she's referring to specifically your Google My Business Insights, or JAG is. But no, I don't do it. I do it from Google Search Console. Any other questions? I'm on Viper Basic. So I have 5 campaigns at a time. It's up to 5. I have 10 sites I want to work with per month. Running the campaign for several days a month would look suspicious. So how I do it, and I'll tell you how I do it. So for example, I get up to 30. I have hundreds of clients. So what I'll do is, personally for me, because I'm trying to run CTR on everybody. It might seem crazy, but that's what I do. I'll take 30 and I'll run them for 2 weeks. And then I'll delete those campaigns. And then I'll put another 30 in. And I'll run those for 2 weeks. And I delete those. And then I'll run another 30. And then I delete those. And that's how I do it. Or I'll go 1 week with 30, delete, 1 week, another 30, delete. And then I'll rotate, because I have to rotate them if I'm going to put them on CTR. This is not a CTR related question. Does all the citation content description need to be the same? Yes, in my opinion. I know like a couple of the people would tell you no, but personally I do. Every name, address, phone number needs to be the same. The description needs to be the same always. So use same date as shown in Excel. In Excel, whatever data you're pulling, if it's for 30 days, great. If it's for 3 months, you're needed, do it for 3 months. But personally, do it for 28 days or 7 days or 14 days. I wouldn't do no 3 months. So is there any way to save campaigns? Say over a month, I saved 10 keywords I want to use, and the next month I want to use the same keywords. And not if you're going to have to delete them. If you're going to delete the campaigns because you're going to switch them out, you're going to have to redo it. That's why I'd put everything in the Google Drive sheet and Excel sheet and save it. If you, in any of my classes, I'm very fond of Google Drive and Google Excel. And I put everything I do inside of Google Excel so I can keep track of what I've done. Same reason why you'd want to use that Excel sheet is you can go, okay, I know I started at position 4 and I ran CTR for, let's say, 2 weeks, and now I'm in position 2. Now I can go, okay, I'm in position 2 and I can see, the effects the CTR is having. Go ahead, Marcin.
I know that feature's coming, by the way, to do that with all your campaigns.
Yeah, he's got a lot of different things coming. So, when I first got on, we had a maximum of what, 50, I don't know, how many was it? 15 campaigns or 10 campaigns or something like that. And now he just bumped it up for platinums. We get 30. So once again, on the same number of views, it's going to vary every time every time you do it, depending on the keyword, depending on how much traffic you've pulled out of, Google Search Console that you've seen. You always going to go back to Google Search Console. If you're going back to Google Search Console, let me pull it up again. And here's why I would not, I personally don't think it's a good idea to save, if you will, to save your campaigns. I'm going to tell you why. It's the sheer fact of the matter is, let's say, for example, I pull my traffic, and I'm going to show you. I pull this traffic. Let's say I wanted to pull this traffic from the last 7 days or whatever. And then 30 days from now, I go to pull it and it may look totally different. So I'm going to want to pull it every time I go to run my campaign. I'm going to pull this because it's going to show different results. One day, this may be, let's say this keyword right here the first time I ran it may had, only 70 clicks and only 155 impressions. And a month from now, it's up to 500 impressions. So now my numbers are going to be totally different. So every time I go to run CTR on any of this, I'm going to pull it to see if it's changed any. And then I compare it with my old data and I put that in my Excel sheet. So I know, okay, last time I was here, I was in position 7 and now I'm in position 3. Great. Now I'm going to work on getting it from position 3 to position 1. For instance, national motorcycle. See where they're at, He's number 1. So he's already won here, or he's number 2, not number 1. So you're always going to want to pull that data, because if you pull that data and you can determine, different things like you ship transport reviews and say, should I, this past 30 days, he might not have been getting as much traffic. And then the next time he's getting more traffic. And then you can also, like we were talking about, take your CTR and send it to your Yelp listing. You could take it and send it to your BBB. You could take it and send it to many more things besides GMB and your, website, quote unquote, listing. So if I understand you right, the number of views entered onto Viper GMB and Viper Search will end up being the same. So the GMB Viper is only for GMB, only for your GMB assets. It is not to be used for, it's not for Google search. It's the only real difference. Go ahead, Marcin.
Okay, so I have a question. If you making like campaigns for 2 weeks and then you make a break and make for another websites, that look for me like unnatural for Google. You think is a good strategy, like running just 2 weeks and then stop?
The only reason I'm the only reason I'm doing it is because I have to do it, because I have a crap ton of clients. I'm not the average person that has, I mean, let's say you have 20 clients or whatever, it's going to work for you. You can run them all month. For me, I can't. Another thing I've told people is like, you want to, what they don't, a lot of people, I guess, don't understand is CTR is meant, let's say if you're in position 6 and I now CTR gets you to position 3, you're now going to start receiving natural traffic that you weren't getting before because you're in position 3. As you start receiving that natural traffic, you should slowly drop drop your CTR traffic. In my case, I can't because I have, you know, hundreds of clients I deal with, so I'm having to rotate them. So I may go and just rotate them each, you know, every 2 weeks. I could do it every day if I wanted to, honestly, but
Yeah, you know, I got same problem. I over 100, over 100,
yeah, I know
150 GMB.
you kind of have the same issue I have, but I mean, that's the only
That's why I
solution
asking.
I have. Yeah, that's the only solution I have. I haven't seen it affect it in a negative way. Every one of my, and I know for a fact because I run my ranking reports, not my boys, and I see the rankings jumping all the time. So, and I'm running CTR on everybody. So, the only solution you have to it, and Michael doesn't necessarily want to do it, from what I remember, is you could buy more than one license. You can run to he's fine with running 2 computers from the same place. Any more than 2 computers, no.
Okay, but what about the running another Viper using the USB tethering from the phone? So it's going to be different IP.
Only 2.
But I got the, regular internet from my home, and then I can use another using the USB tethering from my phone. So it's going to be different IP.
I would ask Michael because he only says only use 2. And I know if you use more than 2, Michael may get rid of you. So I'm just saying, because it hurts everybody. It's not just yourself. So, but, all right, we're going to go ahead and get off here for the day. Tomorrow, we're going to go over some Facebook, some email campaigns, and some other stuff we could set up. And then we'll go from there. If you have any questions, just email me your questions. Same email as normal. It's just philmrush@gmail.com, philmrush@gmail.com. And I'll be putting this video along with the PowerPoint, etc., in the back end. All right, you guys, y'all have a good one. You have a good night.